Mind working is man. Mind working fast is mad. Mind slowed down is must. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you, beloved Baba. And Jai Baba to all of you. I hope you had a lovely Diwali. There's a Meher, I think your mic is on. Meher, thank you, darling. All right. Um, you had a lovely Diwali and a New Year, and I had more than lovely Diwali and New Year because I ate a lot of sweets. Kajal, your mic is on. Thank you. Oh my God. Parvez Bana. I don't know. I think there is a provision for immediate muting the mic as they enter. If we can do that. Anyway.
That is on, Cyrus. I'll lock the mic. Wait.
Okay, dear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So what I was saying is I had a lot of sweets, so my throat has gone for a toss. But I'll pull on for the whole 1 hour. Nothing to worry about. All right. Since we are reminded by Meher that Rakesh Acharya, celebrated his birthday. So let us all sing happy birthday song. Rakesh, please unmute everyone, so that we can all sing happy birthday song. Jai Baba.
His birthday is today. Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rakesh. Happy birthday to you. Where is my cake, Rakesh? Where is my cake, Rakesh?
Come to Mera Mandir.
Good, Pari.
That will be double party cake in Mera Baat.
Aajo.
Exciting.
All right.
That was so lovely.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, what date is it, Rakesh? What date is it?
It was on Saturday.
अरे status बोलता है
Saturday बोला, now you calculate ना 2 दिन पहले, 3 दिन पहले. Anyway, all right. Order. Now I'm going to wrap up what we've done already. Again, very briefly. I strongly believe, in what we call as the 3 R's, which means repetition reinforces remembrance. When you keep on repeating, it's very easy for us to remember. The same goes very beautifully for Baba's word, Baba's name. If you remember to take Baba's name, then if you repeatedly take Baba's name, then we will remember, hopefully, to take his name when we breathe our last. So that's the whole one. Aarti Raheja, please mute your mic. Oh my God, I have to keep on saying this to so many people today. All right. So now, Baba, we know this very unique book. And why I am so attracted to this book is that it is so unique that perhaps in the first time from creation, I don't know, we have something authentic written by the Creator himself in his own hands, explaining the crux of spirituality. And in my understanding, I feel that the crux is that the Creator himself become the creature, or that means the Creator becomes the created or the creature, the creation, the creation. And that is why Baba explains so beautifully in this book about, although the wordings and the way it is expressed might seem a little difficult to really grasp, but I think once we go deep into it, it's quite intoxicating in a sense, that how beautifully Baba says that there is nothing but the real I. The real I is the I that is making me speak, that is making you hear, that we all discuss. That is the real I. And that real I is nothing but God. It is Paramatma, it is self, it is the real mind, it is also the mind stopped, it is knowledge, it is intelligence, it is sound sleep in awake state. This is something difficult to understand unless we reach that stage. It is the infinite and it is everything and it is in everything. Everything in the smallest particle of dust, it is in it and yet it is aloof from everything. That means it is in everything and it is beyond everyone and everything. That is the real, or Baba calls it the, sorry, Baba calls it the natural light. Baba calls it the natural light. That is in everything. And what is the astitva of natural light? What is the essence of natural light? It is the unnatural light. That means the darkness. That means the nothing. That means Khuda. That means the sound sleep state. Baba later on will be doing that. I'll be jumping guns in a sense. Baba says that everything starts from the sound sleep state. Everything started from the sound sleep state. Because in the beyond state of God, which is the Paratpar Par Brahma state of God. In Sufi terminology, it is called the Urvara state of God. God is, but consciousness is not. That means, Ranjan, please mute your mic. Thank you, darling. That means in the Paratpar Par Brahma state, God is, but consciousness is not. That means God was sleeping. Let's put it that way. Now, in order for him to know that he is God, he has to go through all the aspects of he is not God in order to know that he is God. In the latter part of the, the book, beautifully Baba said, how can the light know itself as the light through the light? It cannot. So in other words, it has to experience darkness, and therefore darkness is the astitva or existence of light. Then Baba goes on to say about, we've done briefly, as I said, I'm touching natural light, I have done natural darkness, I will repeat. It is the existence of natural light. It is also called the spirit, which is everywhere. It is darkness, it is the nothingness, it is Khuda, and it is the sound sleep state. Where we are in sound sleep state, what do we experience? We experience nothing. We are actually in bliss. There is no ache, no pain, no tension, no stress, no worry, no nothing. But that no nothing has no value because we also do not know that we exist, because we are not experiencing that state in the awake state. If we are able to experience this state of the Khuda or of sound sleep in an awake state, then that is God realization. As simple as that. According to me, I have not read such a beautiful explanation in any of the previous, avatars writings. So that is God realization. Then Baba goes on to say that the same real I, God, Paramatma, is also in the unnatural darkness. Now, what is unnatural darkness? Unnatural darkness, Baba says, is the mind working. Today, what we are doing is I am talking, you are speaking, you are listening, is nothing but a working mind. My mind is working, your mind is working. So we are in a state of, Baba says, unnatural darkness. Baba also talks about the dream state. When I go to sleep, when we go to sleep, we dream. Although it's a different level of consciousness, Baba has clubbed these two states of the awake state and the dream state into one. Because here the mind is working, the mind is functioning. It is ignorance, it is banda, which is the slave. We are all slaves of our own, let's say, samskaras or impressions. Baba has not used any of these words here, but we follow the dictates of our own samskaras or impressions. This is, sorry, and this state is limited. And then Baba explains about the unnatural light, which is nothing but the false ego, the I, the body, and the universe. In other words, what Baba says is, the moment the mind starts functioning, you experience the body and the universe, the world, all Maya. The moment the mind gradually gets into the sound sleep state, and merges with the spirit, so to speak, it gets unconscious. Now, the same mind, if it merges with the spirit and does not become unconscious, that means it remains awake, then that is God realization. Because the spirit sees God or the truth or the real I all the time. But here the mind is becoming unconscious. So between the spirit and the mind, this is my understanding, they are like two sides of the same coin. The spirit is constantly seeing God. But when the moment the mind awakens, the spirit becomes the mind. And when spirit becomes the mind, it becomes limited and it experiences all the limitations of the ego, the so-called world and all the aspects of the world. Then we have also seen that, and again, as I'm saying, I'm just going very briefly, that every single day when we pass from the so-called awake state to the sound sleep state, we must necessarily pass through the dream state. I'm just jumping to the more or less the end part of it, where the false awake state is known as state 1. The false or ordinary dream state is known as state 2, and sound sleep state is known as state 3. So for each one of us, we toggle between 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and keep on going like this. Now, Baba says that if the while going to sleep, if the pull of the awake state is more and the pull of the sound sleep state is less, then we remain in the dream state for a longer period. Then again, reverse is the case when we are coming out from the sound sleep state to the awake state. You see, so that is what Baba explains. One thing. Then another important thing is, for those, Baba uses the word saints. Now this was the question which was given out by Rakesh Gupta and Bobby also. Rakesh Gupta as well as Bobby. Rakesh's question was, what happens to those who are on the spiritual planes? Do they, all of a sudden when they awake into the fifth plane, the fifth stage, which is the divine awake state? My understanding, according to little reading that I have, is that the sound sleep state is the platform, the basis. Whilst we experience the dream of this gross creation in the so-called false awake state, those on the spiritual planes experience the dream of the divine dream state, which is the planes of consciousness. If I am on the second plane, when I get up from the sound sleep, I enter the second plane and experience the dream of the second plane. If I'm on the third, I experience third. Right till the sixth plane, I am toggling between point number 3 and 4. Again go to 3 and 4. Again go to 3 and 4. 4 means the fourth point is the divine dream state, which means the sixth plane of consciousness before you reach the seventh plane of consciousness, which is the divine awakening state. So as we are toggling between 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, my understanding is that those on the spiritual planes will go from 3 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 4, till such time as they awaken in point number 5, which is the divine awake state. That means it is an awake state in which you experience the sound sleep state. Coming back to Bobby's question, Bobby asked, what is the difference between these 5 points and the 7 planes of consciousness? So the 7 planes of consciousness that Baba explains in God's peace form the point 4 of these 5 points. That means the 7 planes are the divine dream state. Now after awakening, that means after achieving God realization, that means after achieving the divine awake state, when you come down for duty or for consciousness of the mind, you pass through the divine dream state again. And that Baba calls it the Turiya Avastha. And then you get, although you are fully awakened in the sense divine awake state, You can choose to be in the divine awake state when you want to be. You can choose to be in the Turiya Avastha when you want to be. You can choose to be in the gross awake, this false awake state if you want to be. But all the time, you are always divinely awakened. In other words, those who have achieved self-realization never sleep the ordinary sleep that we sleep. When we sleep, we lose our consciousness. There, they never lose their consciousness. They are conscious in their so-called sound sleep state. And that is why Baba has said, that Sadgurus and that is the perfect masters and the avatar never sleep like ordinary human being. They take a sort of a rest. It's only a rest for their body and all that. It's only a rest, and they take it generally between the sixth and the seventh plane. Now, what that means, we do not know because we have never reached it. They said that they can never go into the sound sleep state because if the avatar were to go into the unconscious state, it would be like a pralay. The entire creation, which is nothing but a divine dream, would be sucked in, and that would be like a pralay. So this is what we have done. There are many points in between which I have not covered because I think we've done it sufficiently well so far, whatever we have done. If there is any question from anybody, please ask now. Otherwise, I'll ask Soumya to wrap up this book today. We'll just read 1.5 pages and I'll try to explain that. Basically, whatever is explained just now, so far, is what Baba is repeating in Gujarati. Anybody has any questions on this? So, of course, that Kabir Bani is there, where Kabir ji says about Ek Ram Dasrath Ghar Dole. Dasrath Ghar means the individual body. Ek Ram Dasrath Ghar Dole. Ek Ram Ghat Ghat Mein Bole. Ghat Ghat means in each mind. Ek Ram Ka Sakal Pasara. Sakal Pasara means spirit is everywhere. And Ek Ram Tribhuvan Se Nyara means he is beyond all the Tribhuvan. Tribhuvan means gross, subtle and mental planes, or rather gross, subtle and mental spheres or worlds. Any questions on that? So, okay, let's move on. Anybody has anything to ask here? I hope Bobby's question is answered and Rakesh's question is also answered. Okay, all answered. Now Soumya will read from page number 37, a part of it, the last part of it, and then we'll see how we go about. Go ahead.
ખરો અંધકાર એટલે થોભેલું મન.
Okay. Real andhakar, real darkness is equal to mind stop. That's why we started with the prayer, mind stopped is God. Mind is a container in which all the impressions, samskaras, karmas, longings, desires, fulfilled, unfulfilled are stored. When the mind is completely emptied of all these things, the mind stops. And once the mind stops, it stops forever. That means you have achieved the goal of life, God realization.
ખરો અંધકાર એટલે થોભેલું મન દરેક પલે ખરા પ્રકાશને જોઈ છે.
That
અને
means mind stop all the time sees the real light or the real light. Okay.
અને તે ખરા અંધકાર અસ્તિત્વ જ્યારે ચાલુ છે ત્યારે ખોટો અંધકાર મન દરેક પલે ખોટા પ્રકાશને જુએ છે.
That means when the real darkness, which is existence, is functioning, then the false darkness, that is mind, uses the false light, or sees the false light every moment. In other words, same thing, spirit and the mind. If the mind is functioning in the awake state, the spirit becomes the mind and sees the body and the universe and all that is illusion, all that is false, all that has no astitva, nothing there. It is seeing the false, it is seeing Maya. But when the same mind, when it completely stops, it becomes merged with the spirit. And since the spirit is seeing God, real light, real I, whatever you call it, Paramatma, all the time, now that there is no mind, then that mind also sees the real Prakash or real I all the time. So the hinging part is the spirit and the mind, the spirit and the mind. The moment the mind is functioning, spirit becomes the mind and experience is all falsity. The moment the mind is stopped, the mind becomes the spirit and sees God all the time. So I'll repeat again. The moment the mind is functioning, the spirit becomes the mind and sees all falsity. That means the body and the universe and everything that is illusion. But the moment the mind is stopped, not in abeyance, like in our sound sleep state, completely stopped, annihilated, devoid of any samskaras, then the mind transforms itself into the spirit and it sees real light or it experiences Aham Brahmasmi, I am God state for all time. Because once you achieve that state, then that is a perennial, continuous, without a break state. It is eternal. You experience that I am God state eternally.
હમણાં તમારું અસ્તિત્વ મનની હાલતમાં છે કરીને શરીર અને દુનિયા જુએ છે.
At the moment, your existence is in a state of the mind because now everything that I am experiencing is experienced through the mind. You see, so I may say that I am seeing through my eyes, but actually it is the mind that is interpreting. You see, so at the moment, your astitva, your existence is in the mind, and therefore you are seeing the body and the world. The moment the mind is stopped and your existence becomes the spirit, then you see God and you become one with God. Go ahead.
એ જ તમારું મન થોભ્યું કે અસ્તિત્વ બન્યું કે તે જ સેકન્ડ પ્રકાશને જુએ છે.
The moment the mind stops, and when I say stop, actually stops, not unconscious, actually stops means actually it has no samskara, emptied of everything, then that same mind sees the prakash. Prakash means light.
કારણ આપને ઉપર કઈ ગયો કે અસ્તિત્વ દરેક સેકન્ડ પ્રકાશને જુએ છે.
We have seen earlier how the natural darkness sees natural light all the time, or how the spirit sees natural light or real I or God all the time. We have seen that, and that is what Baba is again repeating. We've already seen that it sees natural light all the time.
ખાલી પ્રકાશ તો પ્રકાશને પોતાને કેમ અનુભવે?
So this is a nice sentence we need to understand. How can the light by itself experience itself the light? I'll repeat. How can the light by itself experience itself the light? In other words, for light to experience itself as the light, it has to experience the darkness. That is why only then you can know that if there was only light, how can the light experience itself as light? It requires the exact opposite of it, and then to do the neti, as we say, not this, not that, and then experience. That is the whole name of the game, you can say, that it is only in the experiencing of the exact opposite. And that is why when God, who is all powerful, created the universe, God is infinite, and God created the universe which is finite. God has all power, but we experience helplessness. God is all knowledge, we experience ignorance. God is all bliss, but we experience suffering and pain and all kinds of hardship. So it is only through the experiencing of the exact opposites of the traits of God, you may say, that we actually finally experience the I am God state. So now we are coming to this is what we have to read, starting the reading today from page number 38. Go ahead.
એટલે અસ્તિત્વની અંધકારની હાલતમાં જ પ્રકાશનો અનુભવ થાય.
That means only, I'll just read one by one so that it becomes easy. That means only in the state of existence of darkness can light be experienced. Only in the state of existence of darkness can the light be experienced.
પણ નથિંગનેસની ભર ઊંઘમાંની હાલતમાં અસ્તિત્વ પણ કોન્શિયસ નહીં રહેતું. પ્રકાશને જોવા માટે અંધકાર કોન્શિયસ થયું
See, now
ખરું?
this is unconscious or unconscious? Okay. All right. So, in other words, Baba says, but in the state of nothingness, which means the sound sleep state, this state of being existence is not conscious. That again and again, Baba is saying the same thing. That in the sound sleep state, if I am awake, then God realization. In the sound sleep state, if I lose my consciousness, then that is normal sound sleep state. Go ahead.
પણ કોન્શિયસ થતા જ એટલે ચાલતા જ તેને દુનિયા દુનિયા દુનિયો દુનિયો શરીર વગેરે આવ્યું અને તે જ જોવા લાગ્યું.
See, the moment the mind starts working, unfortunately, it starts seeing the body and the world, which is all an illusion. Here Baba says, in order to see the light, the darkness did indeed become conscious. Every moment, every morning, the darkness becomes conscious. That means that we awaken from the sound sleep state through the dream to the false awake state. But no sooner did it become conscious, yani ki the moment you get consciousness of your mind, which is to say functioning, that means the moment the mind starts functioning, then it became possessed of the world, body, etc. And it started seeing only these. In other words, instead of seeing God, the moment the mind started functioning, it is seeing the body and the universe, which is all an illusion.
એટલે પછી પ્રકાશ દેખાયો જ નહીં.
It means then that the darkness, never saw the light.
કોન્શિયસ બન્યું ખરું, પણ
Hmm.
ખરા પ્રકાશને જોવાને બદલે ખોટો પ્રકાશને જોવા લાગ્યો.
No doubt it became conscious because every day we become conscious. You see, no doubt it became conscious. But instead of seeing the real light, it began seeing the false light. What is real light? God. What is false light? The creation, the body, and all the egoism and the illusion.
હવે કોન્શિયસ તો રહેવું જોઈએ, કારણ પહેલા અનકોન્શિયસ હતો ત્યારે પ્રકાશ દેખાયો નહીં, પણ શરીર અને દુનિયા દેખાવું નહીં જોઈએ. એટલે
Go ahead.
તેને કોન્શિયસ રહીને લિમિટેડ નહીં રહેવું જોઈએ, પણ અનલિમિટેડ રહેવું જોઈએ.
Okay. Now, conscious, it must remain. That means, in other words, God realization is to be attained with consciousness in the awake state. Right. So here Baba says, now conscious, it must remain. Because when in the beginning it was unconscious, the light was not to be seen. In the beginning would mean that not only just in the beyond state, in the beginning of creation, but even when you get up from your sleep, it is like every day, you can say getting out of the unconscious state is a beginning. So here Baba says it must remain, but at the same time it should not see the body and the world. In other words, what Baba is trying to say is that in the beginning, which means in the sound sleep state, there is darkness. You don't experience anything. But when you wake up, that means when the mind starts functioning, it should actually see the light. But instead of seeing the light, it is seeing the body and the universe. So here Baba says it should not see the body and the universe. That means when you are in the awake state, like how you and I are right now, it should not experience the body and the universe. It should experience the I am God state. And Baba has explained that gradually the consciousness, how Baba uses the word concentration. At some places, somebody corrected me that Baba has also used one word called meditation. Whatever that may be. In other words, what Baba is trying to say, in the awake state as we are now, the consciousness should gradually withdraw from the body and the world it should withdraw, and the flashlight, I use this word, the flashlight of consciousness, which is now without, should gradually turn within. And when the consciousness has completely withdrawn from the body and the world, it is then that it may be stated that you have started traversing the involutionary journey or the spiritual path. And then when you concentrate, you enter into the first plane of consciousness, which is nothing but a divine dream state. And then as you concentrate more and more, Meta, meta, please, thank you. And when you focus more and more or concentrate more and more, you go into the second plane. But Baba says it is
Cyrus, Cyrus, I think you got into mute. Wait.
which no. is nothing but the divine.
No, we could not hear you in the middle. Wait, talk. Yes, I can talk you.
Meta, meta, please, thank you. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
we
Can
can
you hear
hear
me
you.
now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so Baba uses the word that the consciousness must withdraw from the body and the world, and it should focus on the inner spiritual path, which is the involutionary journey, which is the path to God realization. And it's a very sticky, tricky path, and most yogis get stuck up in that path, and they are not able to move forward because of the experiencing of sights and sounds and smells and all kinds of allurement, all kind of riddhi-siddhi, the powers that they get, and they think that they have arrived or they have achieved the goal, and they cease or stop moving forward. And that is why Baba has never recommended the yogic path, because Baba says that without the aid of a living perfect master, which is a Sadguru, or without the aid of the avatar, who is the eternal living perfect master, nobody should venture into that path, because you tend to get stuck up over there. And so gradually, very gradually, you move from one plane to the other. That means from one divine dream to the other divine dream. Mind you, it's a dream. It is an illusion. It is in the domain of illusion. But then gradually, when you go up on the sixth plane, which is the farthest you can go on your own if you can, and then from the sixth to the seventh, you go by the aid of a living perfect master or the avatar, who's the eternal living perfect master, and you achieve the point number 5 in this book, which is God realization. And once you realize God, you are God for all time. You experience the Aham Brahmasmi state, Analhak state for all time. And most souls drop their bodies immediately or a few hours thereafter or a few days thereafter. But that state has to be achieved in the human physical form on earth only. That's what Baba says in God Speaks. Now, there are certain souls who are destined to retain the body and also go through the divine dream state again, which Baba now calls Turiya Avastha, and experience the 7 planes of consciousness, or rather the 6th plane of, because 7th is the real reality or truth. And then they have the option of either seeing God, themselves as God, or either seeing any one of those Turiya Avastha planes, or even seeing the gross plane. But all the time retaining the God consciousness, and all the time knowing that this is all bhas, this is all an illusion. It has no meaning at all. It is just a shadow. It is just a dream. And those who are destined to give service to humanity, they are called Sadgurus or Kutubs or perfect masters. They are obviously, they have to remain in the gross world, and they function at all levels of consciousness. So this has nothing to do with what we are reading, but I just wanted to fill up on that. Okay, go ahead.
અને આસ્તે આસ્તે તે ઉલટે છે અને આસ્તે આસ્તે પોતાની લિમિટ 7 ભુવન પસાર કરી unlimited bane છે.
So in the starting, they are most limited, then less limited, lesser limited, still less limited, until it becomes unlimited in the seventh plane. That means the limits are broken, all the limits are broken, and they become unlimited in the seventh plane of consciousness, which in our book, it is the fifth point, number 5.
પણ હવે કોન્શિયસ છે કરીને પ્રકાશ જુએ છે.
Now because it is conscious, it is seeing the light. Spirit sees the light every moment, which with this concentration or effort, while traversing the seven planes of consciousness, it has become less and less finite or less and less limited by emptying the content of the mind. The mind content is being emptied, one after the other, and you become lighter and lighter. You become more and more, rather less and less finite. And finally, because you are conscious, the mind is now annihilated completely. Or in this particular book, Baba talks, the mind becomes the spirit. And since the spirit sees the light all the time, where I say light means God all the time, now the mind also proclaims, I am God, because it is seeing light all the time.
The infinite ego, which is side by side with the infinite self, to see self must be conscious.
So this is what Baba is saying. In other words, ego is the real thing. Ego cannot be annihilated. Mind is to be annihilated. Ego is to be transformed. Transformed from what? From the false ego of I am this body, I am that, I am this, I am that, all that, to the infinite ego or the real ego. So now Baba says the infinite ego, which is side by side with the infinite self. To see self must be now I am conscious, I am awake, my mind has gone, my mind has merged, or rather transformed itself into the spirit, and therefore my finite ego has now been transformed into the infinite ego. The ego remains, and the experience of Aham Brahmasmi or Soham or Analhak or I am God state is that particular drop soul, which was experiencing itself as finite, is now experiencing itself as infinite. Because, in other words, what I'm trying to convey is Baba says that the experience belongs to that one particular drop soul only. Because otherwise, at the experiencing of Aham Brahmasmi state or I am God state of the very first drop soul, all the drops would have experienced I am God state. So in other words, it is an individual attainment. It's an individual attainment.
On becoming conscious, the infinite ego became the finite ego and so looked towards body and the universe.
Now Baba is now saying from the start that on becoming conscious, the moment you become conscious, you have a finite ego. I am this body, this is my wife, this is my children, this is my house, this is my world, and all that, So on becoming conscious, the infinite ego became the finite ego initially, you see, and so looked towards the body and the universe. But with that concentration and withdrawal of consciousness from without to within, gradually it broke all the limits, all the barriers, all the finiteness, and became infinite.
Now conscious it, that is infinite egoism, must remain but not finite.
That means the infinite egoism, originally also it was infinite. I remember when somebody had asked a question, what is the difference between infinite mind and finite mind? And Baba so beautifully explained that there is no such thing as finite mind. It's all infinite. The finite mind is a Brahm, is a bhas, is an illusion. So in other words, the infinite ego, which initially experienced itself as the finite ego, now experiences its infinity. That, oh, I am God myself. Okay, go ahead.
So to break its finite limit, that is remain conscious at the same time, it turned and bit by bit through the passing in the seven planes it became unlimited egoism as before, but conscious and so sees self.
Beautiful. From the very beginning, there is nothing but infinite egoism or real I or God. There is no such thing as false I or XYZ or Rakesh or Cyrus or Sam or somebody else. No, that was all a past. So here Baba says, very beautifully says, it became unlimited. Okay, sorry. Now conscious. Now we are all awake and conscious. Infinite egoism must remain, but not finite. So now you have become infinite. So to break its finite limit, to break the bubble, to break the finiteness, to break the separateness, to break the otherness, to break the thought that I am a drop in the ocean, to break the thought that I am a soul within the oversoul, to break the thought that I am Atma within the Paramatma. That is what it says. It passes through the passing in the seventh plane. It passes through the seven planes of consciousness. It became unlimited egoism as before. Very important word, as before. Originally also it was unlimited egoism, but it had assumed limitations through ignorance, and now again it is becoming unlimited egoism, but the difference is with consciousness. Originally it was without consciousness, that I am God state. So yours is as before. See how beautifully Baba writes, as before, but conscious, and so sees the self. Go ahead.
In the beginning, it was infinite egoism, but unconscious.
But unconscious. It was from the very beginning, it was infinite, you see, but unconscious. So, in other words, this entire Jamela, Baba is using the word lafra somewhere. Okay, the entire lafra, Baba is using the word lafra. Sam Patel is there, I suppose, on the forum. He uses the word fafa. What is all this nonsense? So, Baba says that all this lafra is only to get consciousness that you are God. In short, you always have been God. You are God right now as we are talking and listening, and you will forever and ever remain God. Simple. But originally, there was no consciousness. Then consciousness came, but unfortunately, consciousness hooked itself, or what should I say? It jumped over the wagon of Bhas, of illusion, of Maya, and it started thinking, I am a stone, I am a this, I am a that, I am a human being, I am an Easterner, I am a Westerner, I am healthy, I am sick, whatever, I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Parsi, I am a Sikh, and all that stuff. So all these were false I or false egoism, till such time as you break all the barriers and again come to the same state of infinite ego. You started from infinite egoism and you go back to infinite egoism, but there is a world of difference. When you started, you means I as well, unconscious. Now you are fully conscious. I am God. So this whole Jamela, Baba used the word lafra, is to go from unconscious divinity to conscious divinity. Divinity or divine aspect is the given platform. You can never ever be not divine, because everything is divine. So this whole use the word.
It was infinite egoism, but unconscious. So all this lafra was to be undergone to bring consciousness.
So all this creation, as I always say, creation is nothing but a divine incubator. We all know what is incubator, in which the consciousness of the soul incubates and becomes perfect and realizes that I was God, I am God, and I will ever and forever remain God. So this is where the whole lafra is just to get to that particular state of consciousness, awakened state of consciousness of the Aham Brahmasmi or I am God state. I think by Baba's grace, absolute infinite grace, I would say, we have been able to finish reading and hopefully understanding at least a bit of what Baba is trying. What an effort Baba must have taken to write this book. And as has been my practice at the Bombay Center, I generally open up the session. I don't know how long we have. Oh, we still have 15 minutes. Great. We open up the session for any one of you to come forward and speak a few lines, maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute, as to what do you find as the crux of this book, which we have been going. It was when I started the book, I was not at all, frankly, uh, confident whether I would be able to explain. When you're sitting one-on-one, you can explain, but on a video session. But it was Soumya who really prodded me and goaded me and said, "Oh no, we must do. It's an excellent book. If we don't do, who would do it?" and stuff like that, as we say in Chavi Marao. So I started doing it, and by Baba's grace, we finished it. So now it's open to each one. Let anyone who wants to speak on this book. What has this book brought to you? Some kind of an enlightenment, some kind of whatever, So so whosoever is raising the hand one by one, open up that person's mic so that he can speak and share his feelings and his feeling as to what he got out of this book. Over to you.
Ram Nori. Ram
Yes,
Nori.
yes, please.
No, I don't have a comment, but I have a question this time.
Okay, go ahead.
So you did mention a couple of times, and what I heard is when you are going from ordinary sleep to, divine sleep state and divine awake state,
Okay.
and then coming back from divine, divine awake state, of course, you've been God realized. Coming back, again, you go back. And then you said, you go through this divine junction, Turiya Avastha.
Yes.
But while going up, don't you have to go through the divine junction?
Well, there are 2 points of view in this particular book. Baba talks about the going up journey as a divine dream and the coming back journey as a Turiya Avastha. But there are places where these 6 planes of consciousness has also been explained as a Turiya Avastha. But in God Speaks, Baba talks what he's talking here, that it's only in the coming down that it's the same journey. Basically, when you're going, you are actually experiencing that as the truth, because you are actually seeing the divine dreams, and you never know the dream unless and until you wake up from the dream. A dream becomes a dream only when you wake up. So when you are passing through the dream, you are actually thinking that this is a real state. But when you are coming down, you know it was just a bhas, it was just a shadow. It has no aspitva in the sense of it has no meaning. So that is why perhaps Baba has said about the divine junction or the Turiya Avastha. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
Bobby.
Yeah, please ask her. Don't feel shy of asking or sharing. Yes, Bobby. Unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
First of all, thank you for the lovely lessons we've had. So before I did this course in God's hand, my understanding was that you get messages in dream states. So when you wake, you try to interpret what your dreams were. And I think what you've taught, or what Baba teaches in this book, is that means you've not gone deep enough to be in the sound sleep state, if you remember your dreams.
Absolutely.
So my thinking was so flawed till we went through this book. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, many people, when they get dreams, they write to Baba or come and Baba says, "Baba, I dreamt like this. What do we make out of it?" And Baba laughs it off and says, I mean, the whole creation is a dream, and you are dreaming within a dream. So what importance could it have? So I know there are many books and books written about interpretation of dreams, but ultimately, most important thing is Baba is only focusing on the highest pinnacle, and that is God realization. He doesn't talk the in-between language. So when somebody talks about this in-between, he just laughs it off and says, what importance can it have? It is a dream within a dream. It's all your interpretation. And if you want to really interpret anything for that matter, you try to interpret that positively so that you move forward and awaken from the dream. So the dream that we see in the ordinary sleeping state, Baba says it has no meaning at all. And if you want to give, see, basically, there's a very nice statement. Life itself has no meaning. Life is blank, like a white sheet of paper. It is you who put the meaning to that paper. So if we are given the option or choice to put any meaning to the paper, the white blank paper, I would say, why don't we put the positive meaning, the meaning of health, the meaning of goodness, the meaning of joy, of happiness. You see, like Hafiz says, that both the suffering, not the exact words, but words to the effect, both the suffering as well as the joys of this world are illusory. So why should I not always be joyful? In other words, when we know that everything is an illusion, so why should I not input my choice of joyfulness, of happiness, of positivity in whatever I'm going through? So that's it. Thank you, Bobby. Anyone else raising the hand? No one else.
No,
Nobody,
sir.
no?
Nobody else. Yeah.
Nobody else. Oh, yeah, Parvez. Parvez Vana. Yes, Parvez, go ahead. Unmute I can't read your lips. I'm not good at lip reading. Unmute your mic. Unmute your MIKE. Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Now you can see me and hear me also, right?
Go ahead. Now I can hear you.
No, actually, this book has given a lot of revelation. Whatever you say, darkness, there is a darkness before we get that illumination. A lot of things that have come to awareness where you feel that what you are at this point of time. And that really makes me wonder, what am I doing over here? Because, I'm just stating whatever that comes to my mind, so don't misinterpret whatever I say. The fact is that the heart and the mind is the same thing, basically, which I read earlier somewhere. Mind has got two parts. One is a thinking part. Another is the impression that is there. Another is heart is of desires and all that stuff, which is nothing but the same
feeling part, yes.
Which merges with the spirit, as you said. And I think the controlling of the mind seems to be the essence of the whole thing, which this book has more or less revealed. So yeah. I think it's a lot of learning and a lot of revelation that you can say. So I think I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy. Excellent.
My only feeling is that I have found that mind cannot be controlled. You can befriend mind. My way of going about the mind is to make it a friend and talk to it and make it do what you want it done. You don't have to suppress it or control it, because Baba doesn't use those words of suppressing it. Baba uses the word sublimating the mind, sublimating the desires, which is using the same energy in a positive way. But you can do that only when you befriend your mind. Mind, if you fight with it, it will come with a vengeance.
Vengeance, correct.
And it will what should I say?
Supersede the other thoughts again and come back to you.
So I generally don't use the word controlling mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
so I think it's very nice. I like it very much.
Thank you, Parvez. Thank you. Anyone else? So are we done with
Yes,
it?
Rakesh.
Oh, Rakesh, great. Yes, Rakesh.
Jai Baba Cyrus. Thank you so much for taking us so wonderfully through this book.
Thank you, Baba.
This has been a real journey.
Yeah.
Just want to come back to Ram Nori ji's comment or the question this time he asked.
Yes.
I want to, perhaps to my understanding, the distinction between a divine dream and Turiya will be that the Turiya, as in the stage 5, which is the awakened state, it will be outside the domain of illusion, whereas divine dream is within the domain of illusion.
Absolutely.
So that's how the two are different.
Absolutely. That means when you are dreaming, you think it is a real thing. But when you are already achieved that you're coming down, you know it is just a shadow. And so you never get caught up in that. Whereas on your way to the divine awake state, there is every possibility to get caught up in that. Right.
Correct.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Very, very, very finely described the distinction. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right. Anyone else?
मैं है दारू वाला.
अरे वाह, बोलो जी.
Cyrus uncle and Soumya, thank you for reading this book
Thank
to us.
you, Baba.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Baba, for
Jai
giving us
Baba.
this opportunity. Now, from next Tuesday onwards, this is what I have just assumed I'll be doing. I'll be picking up some discourses from maybe discourses, life at its best, everything and nothing, sparks, beams, whatever books, God speaks, anything. I'll just pick up certain subjects and we'll do that, so that we won't do a reading of any particular book, but maybe some discourses from here, there, everywhere. Okay, two hands, four hands. Okay, go ahead.
Pari.
Pari.
Hello,
Yes.
Jai Papa. Can you hear me?
Jai Baba to you.
I only wanted to say something on a light-hearted note.
Go.
That now I understand why farm products everything natural and organic is so in demand, because Baba also said that natural light is the ultimate goal.
Wow.
And similarly, like natural products are available to very limited people who know where to go and get it.
Yeah.
God realization is also available to the limited few that come into the avatars love of it.
But the
So-
only thing is, these natural foods are very expensive, but the God realization is free.
True, but see, we have to progress on the path also. No, so similarly, we have to go in search of the natural products.
Yeah.
So yes, I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Cyrus uncle, Soumya auntie.
Thank you.
Are, and I wanted to ask you, Cyrus uncle, when did Baba write the song Ishtiya? Because in that, in one of the verses it says Vasile hak hoga bande se khuda ho jayega.
Beautiful
So
song, yes.
so
no
was
idea. No idea. When, if you ask me when,
It should be in the 22s, when he was very active.
no, it could be before
Even
also.
before, between
I have no
18
idea.
So was there any connection between the song like Bande Se Khuda and this book where Baba is explaining again, where he's used the terms Bande
No
and
authentic.
Khuda?
From me, no authentic
See, all
information.
along that has been his line, that we are Khuda, and from Bande se we have to become Khuda. He's shown us so many
See,
ways.
right from 2013-14, when Baba Jan first, 1913-14, I'm sorry. 1913-14, when Baba Jan first embraced him and then kissed him. After that, I'm sure he must have the experiences and he must have started writing. But from which year onwards he started writing, I have no idea. There's no authentic information, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Right, I see 3 hands on my screen. One is Yasmin.
Yes. Ram, come back.
Yeah, Yasmin. Ram will get the last chance, if at all. Because he's
I unmuted Ram.
All right, Yasmin, go ahead.
Yasmin.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Cyrus, I wanted to thank you and Soumya very much for attempting such a book, and it takes a lot of courage and dedication to do it, and you've done it, and congratulations.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba.
That's really excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Baba.
Okay. Jai Baba.
Who else? My God. Parvez, Pari, and they are all second timers, so they'll get last chance. First is who is the Sharma?
Yeah,
Lavanya. Yasmin, your hand is still up. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Lavanya not talking only.
Okay, never mind. We still have about 2 minutes. Anybody?
Hello?
Yes,
yeah,
go
okay,
ahead.
Lavanya has come.
Yes.
It's me, Kadambri. I'm so sorry. I said it's my daughter's name.
Oh, that's perfectly okay, Kadambri.
Jai Baba, Cyrus and
Jai Baba.
Soumya.
Jai Baba.
How are you?
That's fine.
In short, I just wanted to thank both of you by the grace of Baba. You explained it so well, well.
Thank you, Baba.
So much of clarity. Thank you so much. And you made it so easy for each one of us to understand the simple journey and to know our stupid monkey mind and how we should go ahead now by implementing on it rather than listening all the time.
But let me put this disclaimer, as I always do, that whatever I explained is my understanding of what Baba is trying to say. I always do that because really we do not know. It may not be the truth with capital T. It could be a part of the truth, but all the same, we did understand, and I think we did fairly well in understanding the book. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Bolo,
Jai
bolo.
Baba.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Ram Nuri.
Ram Nori, okay. Ram, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question actually. You did mention, talking about the mental world. You said, we don't control and we don't suppress. But in God speaks, when you're in fifth plane and sixth plane, don't you have to, control your feelings, your emotions, and all that? So don't you need the guidance of your Sadguru to actually have those things? Don't you have to control it so to attain God realization?
See, the point is, in the fifth plane, you are all thought.
All
You
thoughts,
can-
yes.
You have complete control over your thoughts. In fact, you don't need to control the thoughts. You have complete over not only your thoughts, but others' thoughts. You can manipulate thought, you can create thought, you can check thoughts. Similarly, for sixth plane, it is about the feeling.
Feelings,
Right?
yes.
It is about the feeling. And
Yeah.
in the sixth plane, Baba says the feeling is you are seeing God in each and everyone and everything, and you are
Yeah.
longing to become one with God, but
Yeah.
you do not know how to jump that valley, that chasm, that valley from the duality to the unity, from the dream to the awake state, from Dvaita to Advaita. You do not know, and that is where you totally surrender to the Lord and say, not mine, but your thine or thine will prevail. At that time, you get a push from the back from the Sadguru or the living perfect master, and you go to that state of consciousness, which is reality. But now Ram, what I'm trying to say is, let us not play with the words about control. And what I'm trying to say is, at our level, my experience has been that I cannot control my mind because I am not in the mental world. In fact, those who are in the mental world can control their mind. But I can control my actions because I'm in the gross. Try to understand. So that is why I play along with my mind. I make my mind my friend and try to hoodwink the mind in doing things, in getting things done as I want it done, based on how you have to wriggle your way through the mind, to the mind, and through the mind to get what you want. That is what I work on. This is how I function. It doesn't mean that that is the truth. Each one is free to, handle the mind as they want to handle. Okay. Right. I think we are all through. We are
Okay.
already.
Thank
Two
you.
more
Thank
people.
you.
Two more.
Parvez has something to ask.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Parvez.
Wait.
When was this book written? Any idea?
When the assumption is that it is written sometime in 1925, 26.
This book, this particular
The book, because from
Which you have read.
the 2nd of January 1927, Baba stopped writing. So obviously it is before that. You see, and Baba wrote what we call as the book, which is still unpublished. Sometime after, he started writing the book on the 13th of July 1925 and stopped writing everything on the 2nd of January 1927. So obviously this book, as well as whatever he may have written, must have been written within that time frame. That's what I feel. Or even before that. Even before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a purpose of what he wanted to teach or what he wanted to tell everybody.
Sorry, can't hear you well. Sorry.
Maybe that was the beginning. He wanted to lay the foundation for whatever he wanted to say afterwards, for the meaning of life and all that.
I'm still not clear. I'm so sorry. Either I am deaf or your system is not functioning well.
No, I may be,
Net is
my
not working.
voice is not proper. Maybe he wanted to start his teachings with this particular thought parameters.
Maybe. There are so many maybes
You can
which
get
I don't want to get into. Yeah.
It was just a matter of asking.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything.
I think there are no hands or legs raised, so we just call it a day and say Jai Baba to everyone. Jai Baba Kajal, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, came in late.
Jai Baba.
Okay, Avatar Meher Baba.
Jai Baba ki jai.
Thank you, beloved Baba.
Thank you very much. It was a nice
Thank
session.
you, every one of you. See you tomorrow. We are continuing with Maya. tomorrow, which we stopped quite some time back. Okay. Jai Baba. all of you.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Meher Baba.
Baba ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Jai Baba.
Bye
तार
bye
मेहर
bye.
बाबा की
Jai.
जय
Manas Jai Baba.
तार मेहर बाबा की जय
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Baba.
थैंक यू बाबा
7 o'clock Aarti, everybody can log in.